You're starting.
I start last one.
No, you said
Solving multi-step
Oh, you're right. It
equations,
is mine
part
to start.
2.
Sorry. Our essential question is, how does the distributive property and combining like terms affect my steps in solving an equation? Same essential question as last time. All we're doing is taking these to the next step.
All right.
You are doing this part.
These problems may need even more help cleaning up before we can start to solve them. So we first want to look for those parentheses and make sure we distribute it first. That way we know which variables to combine and which constants to combine. We may even find our equations where we have to do both of them before we start solving them. So these are challenge, ready to go. 5x plus 3 times x plus 4 is equal to 28. So we got to do that distributive first. What's nice is they're positive, so we're going to go right at it. 3x plus 3 times 4 is 12, and then we add that 5x that's still there. So distribute first. Then look to see what we're going to combine. In this case, we're combining our variables. A 5x plus a 3x is going to give us an 8x plus 12 is equal to 28. Now look, once it looks like a two-step equation, we got it, we're confident, we know what to do. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides. 8x is now going to be equal to 16. Divide both sides by 8, and x equals 2. Bad news, we have to go back to that original equation in order to show our check. So 5 times 2 plus 3 times 2 plus 4. And we're hoping for 28 when it's all done. Order of operations, parentheses first, gives us 6. 6 times 3 gives us 18.
I'm just rewriting my problem. So we get 18.
5 times 2 is 10. Going to multiply first and then add them up to get to 28, which is what we wanted. Nice, easy, positive problem. You get the negatives.
All right. So this is really just kind of taking all of your skills and putting it all together. So look for distributive property first. I am going to throw my 1 in front of my x there. 2 times 3 is 6x. 2 times 1 is 2. Notice I don't multiply the 2 times the x out here. It's not in the parentheses, so it's not involved. It just kind of hangs out until I'm ready for it. Second step is combine your like terms. 6x and negative 1x is 5x. Plus the 2 comes down is equal to 17. Now it's a two-step. Now I'm ready to solve. This part should be the easy part now. I'm going to subtract 2 to undo my addition. 5x is equal to 15. I'm going to divide by 5. And x is equal to 3. These are the ones where it really is going to take some work to actually check your solution.
But it's so important.
But you will catch all those little mistakes if you take that time. So I plug in 3 for x, so 3 times 3 plus 1 minus 3. And we're hoping it gives me 17. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, because you do in the parentheses first. 2 times 10, multiplication comes next, is 20. Minus 3 really is 17, which is what I wanted. So I am good.
And we're squeezing. All right. Oh, I have a negative x. Can you change that to adding a negative 1x for me?
Sure can.
Thanks. Now we're going to distribute. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times a negative 1x is a negative 12x is equal to 48. So we distributed. We don't have to combine like terms. We're back to a two-step equation ready to solve. We're going to subtract 24 from both sides. We're left with a negative 12x is equal to positive 24. We're going to divide both sides by a negative 12.
Notice she divided by a negative 12.
I need a positive x. X is equal to a negative 2. So keep track of those negatives. All right, checking our work, it leaves us with 2 minus a negative 2. He's going to go ahead and make that a 2 plus 2, which is 4, and then multiply by the outside of the parentheses to get his 48.
Which is what we wanted, so we are good.
I like that one.
All right.
Oh, you get an easy one.
So start by looking at the problems and try to figure out, okay, what is it that I need to do before I'm ready to start solving it? So this one only has 2 pieces, but if you notice they are like terms, so I need to combine them together. 8 and negative 3 is 5x equals 10. It's a nice one-step equation. I'm just going to divide both sides by 5, and x is equal to 2. Plug it back in. 8 times 2 minus 3 times 2, and I'm hoping it's equal to 10. 8 times 2 is 16, minus 3 times 2 is 6. 16 minus 10 really is, or 16 minus 6 really is 10, so I am good. But you do have to show all the way through that work. Don't just stop halfway just because you think it's going to work.
All right, here we go with these negatives.
You get a fun one.
I know. Before we can get started with this distributing in the rainbow, we need to change that subtracting a 4 to adding a negative 4, and then change our subtraction in the parentheses to adding a negative 1x. We have to make those changes before we distribute, or we're going to lose our signs. So a negative 4 times a 9 is going to give us a negative 36. A negative 4 times a negative 1x is going to give us a positive 4x. And we cannot forget to bring down that 6x that's still over on the left. So we have to rewrite the entire thing in order to get what we're doing down. We're going to then combine our variables. 6x plus 4x is 10x. 10x plus a negative 36 is equal to 64. And we're back to our two-step ready to solve. To undo a negative 36, we're going to add 36 to both sides. That cancels the negative 36, positive 36 out. We're left with 10x is equal to 100 even. Dividing both sides by 10, x is equal to 10. Isn't you so fancy with that pen?
I'm just trying to keep up with you.
You better do it all in the middle. 6 times 10 plus a negative 4 times 10, 9 plus...
Was it minus?
Yeah, you got it. You're
okay.
right. Negative plus
so,
a negative, please. Oh, no, we're not. Gives us a negative 1.
Negative 1
and
times
inside the
negative 4.
Times a negative 4 gives us a positive 4. Plus 6 times 10 is 60. 60 plus 4 gives us the 64 we needed. Sorry, your pen is moving way faster than my mouth. All right, we're good.
That happened once. Ooh, I get to start with these now. All right. So these
but again,
last
you
couple.
have the positives and I get the negatives. I see how this is going.
But I have to explain how to do it. So these last two are a little special case that we want you to be aware of, so you can kind of watch what to do. Normally when you see a number outside of the parentheses, our first instinct is to go ahead and multiply times each of the numbers inside. We want to distribute it. But distributing a fraction is just a recipe for making all kinds of mistakes and getting frustrated and just throwing your piece of paper away and giving up.
It's a really long way to do things.
So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get rid of our fraction. So think of it as something times this. We want to get rid of the multiplication. Well, to get rid of multiplying by fraction, we can just multiply by its reciprocal. So we're actually going to get rid of this piece instead of distributing it through. But I got to do the same thing to both sides. 2 ninths times 9 halves. The 9s and 2s are going to cancel, and I'm just left with x plus 3. That all disappeared on me. Over here, I'm going to multiply. I can do a little cross simplifying first. 27 and 9 can be divided by 9. So I get a 3 and a 1. 3 times 2 gives me 6. So after some quick little multiplying by the reciprocal, I'm actually left with x plus 3 is equal to 6.
Yeah,
so I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. X really is equal to 3. Quick check.
9 halves.
So we're going to do 3 plus 3. 3 plus 3 is 6 times 9 over 2. My 2 and 6, I can do a little cross simplifying and divide by 2. And I'm left with 9 times 3 is 27. That's what I wanted for my answer, so I know I am good. Good luck with this one.
Yeah, great. We're going to start off the problem by changing our subtraction sign to adding a negative 4. And then we are not going to distribute the negative 4 9. So we're going to need to multiply both sides by negative 9 over 4. It's so important to make sure that negative comes with us.
And the negative you just always write with the numerator of the fraction.
Okay, the negative 9 and the 9 cancel out. The 4 and the negative 4 cancel out. We then simplify. 2x plus a negative 4 is now equal to, we have to simplify the right-hand side. 4 is going to go into 48 12 times. 12 times a negative 9 is going to be a negative 108. Yuck. Two-step equation. We're ready to solve. Adding 4 to both sides cancels the left-hand side out and gives us a 2x. Now we have to be careful. We have a negative 108 plus a positive 4 to give us a negative 104. Dividing both sides by 2, and x is going to be equal to negative 52. That's pretty.
See, I took my time so you could do that mental math quick.
Right. You're going to write out the whole check, aren't you?
Yep, negative 4/9 times 2 times negative 52
What is that?
minus 4.
Plus a
So
negative 4, please.
2 times is going to give me negative 104
plus a
negative 4.
Is a negative 108.
You're going to love doing these checks. They are so much fun.
9 goes into a negative 108.
12 times.
Negative 12, actually. And negative 12 times a negative 4 is a positive 48. Look at all those negatives. Woo-hoo.
All right. You are good to go. Oh, I take it back. One last one. Challenge yourself with this. Give this a try. Show it to us when you are done. If you can handle everything this problem is throwing at you, and it's not as simple as it may look at first, you know you are ready to solve these multi-step equations.